Hello everyone and welcome to another in the series of Should You Roll, and today we are looking at the sniper slash gunslinger. Now for this video the terminology we will use is that of the sniper, and again everything that applies to the sniper applies to the gunslinger because they're just mirror classes. It's just the class that I leveled first, so it's the class I know the terminology off by heart of, so that's why I always go with the one I leveled first, because again these classes, they're the same. The sniper and the gunslinger, they are identical. The abilities have the same function but a different name, so what applies to the sniper applies to the gunslinger. That's why we're going to cover this from the sniper perspective though, just because that's what I leveled first. So when I play my gunslinger, I refer to everything by the sniper terminology, just because that's what I knew first. So sometimes people correct me on that when I'm live streaming and say, oh yeah, that's not a cull, that's a hemorrhaging blast. Yeah, they're the same thing, it's just that I leveled the sniper first instead of my gunslinger. So that's why I refer to everything by a certain terminology. That's just the way I work. So we're getting into the sniper. Why would you want to roll a sniper? Well, for one thing, they are a fantastic DPS class. They're one of the top DPS classes, consistently at the top of the DPS in SWTOR. They're just a pretty awesome class in a raid scenario. They're very good. They have things to deal with almost all scenarios, so that's why having a good sniper in your group is essential. I mean, you are pigeonholed into DPS, though as a sniper you can only DPS, unlike your operative or scoundrel who can they can heal. You know, they can heal as well as DPS, so you are locked in if you choose a sniper to DPS, and you know you're going to be waiting a long time in queues and so forth and that, but they are a very good DPS in both PvE and PvP. I will tell you that in my opinion, the sniper is probably the best PvP class in the game, and still is the best PvP class, I think, to this day. When I did PvP with the sniper. When I was doing PvP before 2.0, that's the class I chose. I chose the sniper as a PvP class. I think they are awesome. There's only one class that we really fear in PvP, and that is the Guardian, because they have Saber Reflect. We used to fear stealth classes, but then in 2.0 we got stealth detection, or better stealth detection, so we used to, that was the only real classes we used to worry about, was those shadows and scoundrels that would just sneak up behind us undetected and blow us away before we could realize what was going on. Now we've got something to counter that. At least we've got a little bit of stealth detection, but Guardian's the only class we really fear. We're always wary when we fight a Guardian, because is he going to pop his Saber Reflect, we think, and we don't want to crit snipe our own face. That's the thing we want to avoid for that. So leveling a sniper, it's pretty good. They're alright to level, to be honest with you. As in, if you're a new player to the game and you're looking for a class that's relatively easy to play, and and you just want to experience the agent story, you don't really care about doing anything endgame, the sniper is probably the better newbie class. The sniper or the gunslinger, if you want to do the smuggler story. They are a great newbie class because they're fairly easy to play. They've got range. You just sit there in cover and you shoot things, basically. Use a tank companion, send your tank companion in, get all the aggro, sit back and shoot things, basically. Fairly simple. The reason we say they're easier to play than the operative or scoundrel is that the scoundrel and operative are situational. They have certain things that they're very situational with their DPS. You have to be behind the target. Certain things you have to be in stealth. You always have to be in melee range. If you look at a fight like Grobe Thok as the example, the Rancor boss in Dread Fortress, if you look at that from a sniper's perspective and you look at it from an operative's perspective, it is a totally different experience. It's so much easier as a sniper, to be honest, because you can just sit there and shoot him, whereas you're always having to make sure you're behind him. You have to follow the tank when the tank's kiting him around. With the magnet, you're always running. You have to stealth to use your hidden strike. There's a lot of things to consider. The only thing you really need to consider is abilities that require cover or out of cover, but that's not that complicated, really. You'll spend most of your time in cover anyway, as a sniper or gunslinger, so because it buffs your defense, basically. You get extra defense for being in cover. That's why we take cover. But again, there are a decent class. I find them a bit boring, to be honest with you. I find the operative is a hell of a lot more dynamic and exciting, to be honest. But as a newbie class, they are decent, and they are very good for leveling, actually. They're pretty easy to level with. Soloing, the scoundrel and the operative are always going to win in terms of soloing. For two reasons. One, they have two crowd control abilities. They can crowd control living creatures, and they can crowd control droids. And number two, they can stealth. And stealth is king when it comes to soloing. You can just skip all the trash you want when you're soloing things. So again, for heroic 2s and heroic 4s, not that they're unviable, the snipers, because they're pretty decent. They do have very good They do have very good utility, like defensive cooldowns. They have their shelter, which is an AOE defensive cooldown, which everyone inside that in the raid gets a defensive buff, which is a nice little thing to have, especially when you're getting those moments of heavy burst damage. They were always very good in fights like the Annihilation droid back in EV, back when EV was current content, and you had the missile barrage phase. They were always invaluable because they really helped out. They helped out the healers a hell of a lot, snipers, by getting in on the droid and getting their shelter up, and it meant the whole raid took less damage, which made it easier for the healers, of course, because it was less for them to heal. But then again, I prefer the scoundrel, to be honest. I like healing. I don't mind healing, but they are a very good class, the snipers. They are very good damage class, very good for PvP, PvE. They are one of the most flexible classes in terms of content they can do, and their 3 specs, all of them serve a different purpose, and all of them are viable to some degree. You've got your marksmanship, which is your single target burst damage. You've got your engineering, which has a few dots and some AoE in it. And you've got your lethality, which is your dot spec. Personally, I go with lethality, or dirty fighting if you're a gunslinger. I prefer that as a spec. I like the fact that you get the flexibility. It makes you a little bit more mobile than marksmanship. Marksmanship's problem is that you're too static. I always preferred lethality in PvP because people would try and run away from me as a sniper at the time. Marauders especially, that couldn't leap to you while they were in cover. They just try and do things like hide behind things and line of sight you. Well, if you're dot spec, you get your corrosive grenade, your weakening blast, your corrosive dart on them, and they cannot hide from you. Well, they can hide from you, but you're still ticking damage away on them. So, that was the problem with marksmanship. Marksmanship is a little too static for my liking. Engineering is okay. I think it's okay. It's pretty decent for leveling, actually, but the problem I have with it is energy management can be a bit of an issue. That's why I picked lethality. But again, pick whatever spec you like playing. They're all pretty viable these days. And, you should definitely check out the sniper. It is worth checking. If you played a hunter in World of Warcraft, their gameplay style is very similar to that of a hunter, basically. So if you want to be a hunter, you always say that for the smuggler or agent. Sorry. What do you want to be? You say, what should I pick? Should I pick a operative or a sniper? And we say, well, if you played WoW, did you prefer rogues or hunters if you're going to play DPS? And that's how you pick, basically. So that is all for this video. The sniper is a fantastic class, the sniper or the gunslinger, whichever one you prefer. I like both of them, to be honest. The gunslinger, not a fan of the gunslinger personally. The dual wielding gunslinger, to be honest, is how can you hit something from that distance with 2 pistols, is my opinion. At least the sniper, it makes sense because you've got a sniper rifle with the scope on it. You can hit things from that distance. But I don't get it as a gunslinger, to be honest with you, because you get 2 pistols. Surely you'd be less accurate, not more accurate. But anyway, that's the only thing. That's the only real issue between the two of them. But again, a very good class and a very newbie friendly class. So next time we are gonna move on to the Marauder. Oh yeah, we're gonna go to the Marauder. That's what's gonna be next time. So thank you for joining me for this video, and we'll see you soon, and goodbye.